Hi everyone, I'm Arjun Srikumar from UCK Developer Club. In this video, we'll learn how to write a simple Hello World program in 5 different programming languages. Those are C, C++, Java, C Sharp, and Python. Okay, so we'll see one by one. We'll start with C programming language, and there's one thing you need to know before looking into this program. Every executable C, C++, Java and C Sharp programs should contain a function or a method called main. This is a mandatory function. Without a main function, you cannot execute a C or C++ program. Every executable statement should go within the blocks of a main function. So we'll consider C only right now. In case of a C program, you should write a main function, and all your executable statements should be written within the main function. Otherwise, you cannot compile and execute a program. Okay, so coming into the C program, the Hello World program in C language, where there are only 4 or 5 lines here. The first line is hash include stdio.h. Hash include here is a preprocessor directive. It is preprocessor directives are used to direct the compiler to do something. So in this case, this hash include directive is used to include a library file called stdio.h. This stdio.h is stored in the library of C programming language. Okay, and why we need to include this stdio.h file into this program is because it contains the definition of this function here, printf function. Without this line of code, when the compiler reads this program, okay, it comes to this line void main, so it understands that this is the main function, and the statements written within this block are the lines that need to be executed. And then comes to this statement and it reads printf, and what happens is the compiler does not know the definition of printf and it don't know what to do with this function. So in order to make the compiler aware about the actions that need to be performed when this printf function is called, it should read the stdio.h file before reading this. So that's why we are including this file into the program. So at first the compiler will read the stdio.h file and understands the definition of printf function, and then when it encounters this function call, it will know what to do. Okay, so that's the use of this line of code here. And then comes the void main. As I said, it is a mandatory function main, and once the compiler encounters a main function, it understands that everything that's written within the body of the main function need to be considered for execution. And here comes the executable statement in this program, which is just a printing statement. As I said, this is a hello world program. We need to print the text hello world onto our console, and in C language we use a function called printf to print anything to our console. So this is the basic syntax of a printf statement, printing a string onto the console. Okay, so now when we come to the C++ version of this program, only 2 lines are changed. In the first line, instead of stdio.h, I'm using iostream.h, another file. I'm including another file. This is because in C++ we are not going to use this printf function to print our hello world statement. Instead, we will be using an identifier cout and an operator called output operator, which is the less than symbol. So the definition and meaning and all the actions associated with this combination of identifier and operator is written within the iostream.h file. That's why we are including that file. and since we are not using the printf statement, we need not include the stdio.h file into our C++ program. Everything else is same. There is a main function, and as I said, it is mandatory, and only those statements written within the main function will be considered for execution. Here our output statement is our only executable statement, and it is written within the main block. So what this statement does is it prints, it outputs the string given with it into the console. C stands for console. Okay, so hello world will be printed on our console, output console, when this C++ program is executed. Okay, now we will come on to Java. Java is a bit more complex when compared to C and C++. In Java, everything, whatever you write, everything comes under some class, some block called class. Okay, so in every Java program you need to create a class first, and I have created a class called my class. This is a name given by my choice. You can change the name here, and this is the common syntax for creating a class: public, then the keyword class, then the class name, and the opening brace, a closing brace. Everything written within this comes under the vicinity of this class, my class. Okay, so again in Java also we need a mandatory function called main. In Java we don't use the word function, instead we will be using word method. So in Java there is a mandatory method called main, which is used to write the executable statements. Only those statements written within the main method will be considered for execution, and the main method also should be enclosed within some class, and that's why here the main method is written within the my class. Okay, the class called my class. And in here the syntax of main function is slightly different from C and C++. Here we only needed to write the return type and name main, and then a pair of empty parentheses. But in case of Java the syntax is slightly different. You need to mention its access specifier public, then static void main, and within the pair of parentheses you need to write string arg s and square brackets, or you can write like this, both are same. And then within the body, within its body, we need to write our executable statement. Here we need to print hello world onto our console, and the output statement in Java is system.out.println, and within the pair of parentheses you need to write whatever you want to display within a pair of double quotes. So once you execute this program, you can see hello world printed onto your output console. Okay, so now we'll come to C#. Even though the name of this language is similar to C and C++, syntactically it is more similar to Java. In C# also everything lies within a class. So here also I have created a class called my class, and my main method is enclosed within this class. Here also the main method is compulsory. Without a main method you cannot execute this line here. Okay, so there are some slight differences in the words used. In C#, the main method should begin with a capital M. In all other cases I have used small letter m at the beginning. Here m, small letter m, small letter m. But in C# we use uppercase letters at the beginning of every function. Here also there is a function called write, and it starts with a capital letter W. So make sure that you have begun your word main with a capital letter M. Okay, and you need not specify public, the access specifier in C#. everything else is almost same. There's a class, and within the class there is the main function, and within the main function is our executable statement. And the printing statement in C# is like this: console dot write hello world. And this looks like I'm sorry, I have forgot to explain this line here. Using system, I have used without this line here. I'll remove this here. Without this line here, you need to write the output statement as system dot console dot write. So in order to make our coding more easier, I have removed this from here and added the code here using system. This is a namespace. System is a namespace, and if you are using this statement here, whenever a function on the namespace of system is used later in the program, you need not write system dot at the beginning of that function. So if you are not using this statement here, whenever you want to output something, you need to write system dot console dot write whatever you want to print. Okay, so that's when you execute this C# program, you will get an output hello world. Okay, this is similar to Java. You need a class and you need a main function. You need to write the executable statements within the main method. Okay, and in C#, make sure the word main starts with a capital M, and also this write starts with a capital W. Okay, so now we'll come on to a different language, Python 3. All other 4 languages I have mentioned so far are using compilers to translate these programs into machine language. In the case of Python, Python uses an interpreter to translate its programs. Okay, so what an interpreter does is it will read each line, translates it and executes it, and therefore we don't need to write semicolons in interpreter languages. We have used semicolons in executable statements here, here, here and here. This is used, semicolons are used mainly because in compiling languages, the compiler reads the entire code and then only starts executing it. So it needs to distinguish between different executable statements, and these semicolons helps in doing so. So in the case of an interpreter language, you need not distinguish between executable statements, and therefore semicolons are not required. Okay, so coming on to the Python 3 program, here there's only one line of code written, and in all other cases there were 3 or 4 lines, 5 or in some cases 5 lines, 6 lines, and some syntaxes, some compulsory main methods. But in the case of Python 3, you don't need a main function, you don't need to include or import any files, you need not declare any namespaces. You just do what you want to do, just print the hello world string to your console, and print is the function used in Python 3 to print something, and just enclose this hello world within a pair of double quotes and nothing else you want. You don't need a main function or anything. You don't need to worry about any syntax. Python is a very simple language to learn and also a powerful one. You can compare it with the others. It had saved a lot of time. When you write larger programs, you will understand how powerful and easier is Python. So I hope you have understood how to write a simple hello world program in these 5 languages: C, C++, Java, C# and Python. And please do follow us on our YouTube channel for more videos and give us your feedbacks as well. Thank you.